After 5 years of Definitive Edition memes, it is time to look at some of the most interesting discoveries that have been made in the remastered version of Vice City. Today, I'm going to show you a few interesting glitches, some that are unique to the Definitive Edition of this game, and some that work in most if not all versions of Vice City. Out of all of these glitches, a few serve as legitimate strategies for various categories of speedruns for this game, saving quite a decent amount of time, again, depending on the category itself. Some are wildly game-breaking, and others are perhaps pretty insignificant, but still worth mentioning. Since some of these can work in the OG versions as well, perhaps with slightly different setups, I'd like to start off with one of the most random and funny glitches that is exclusive to the Definitive Edition. A bug that I like to call the deep fried skin glitch. You can obtain a variety of quote-unquote deep fried skins, but unfortunately this does involve using cheats. All you need to do is insert the cheat code to change Tommy's look to a storyline character, for example Lance, then set a vehicle on fire and enter it so as to die inside. Once you respawn, type the cheat again, and your character will be in their burned to a crisp version. I have no idea how this glitch could have possibly been introduced, because it doesn't work on the OG game, at least the PC version that is. I can only assume that the game stores the burned version of your character, which gets created when dying inside of an exploding car, but it doesn't get cleared up in the memory, thus leading to this hilarious meme. What's funny is that changing the character by typing a different cheat will result in a deep fried version of that character. This can be fixed by respawning at the hospital a second time, but the glitch is somewhat permanent, as no matter how many times you respawn, typing any skin changing cheat will give you the deep fried version, even for non-storyline characters. This is basically the sequel to the famous ghost car glitch from the OG, where you can obtain a destroyed version of any vehicle by typing the Big Bang cheat during the stealing animation, and then quickly typing the Hell cheat so as to keep it from exploding a second time. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to replicate that glitch as well, so perhaps it got fixed in the Definitive Edition. But it would have been really funny for a deep fried Diaz to ride in a deep fried Banshee, or any car for that matter. And speaking of glitches that were actually fixed in the Definitive Edition of Vice City, the famous glitch that allowed players to phase through the Prawn Island Bridge and reach the second island very easily at the start is ironically one of the few things that were actually fixed in the Definitive Edition. Perhaps because it was one of the easiest and very well known methods of crossing the bridge early. But did you know that you can use a PCJ to jump over the invisible barrier? Line yourself up as far back as you can get, then gain a decent speed and slightly tilt your bike in a wheelie position before hitting the wall. This may take a few tries, but it's a decent way of reaching the second island at the start. This glitch is much easier to pull off on 30 FPS. It seems that no matter what gets patched or not, the players will always find a way to glitch themselves to the locked areas of GTA games. A few returning glitches were thankfully not patched, and I'm glad this is the case. Because I remember playing this game as a kid and being mega confused as to why sometimes helicopters would act crazy when entering them. The reason for this insane helicopter behavior that you are seeing is due to the flying cars cheat being active, which seems to permanently break helicopters. To replicate it, just type the flying cars cheat, then get into a helicopter, which won't start spinning its rotor at all, and then as soon as you press any movement key, you'll be in for a mega launch. Although you might get different results depending on your FPS. And the other amazing glitch that is even more game breaking is related to the Monster Wheels cheat, which normally can only be introduced once. However, if you reload a save and type it again, the size of the wheels will double once more. And if you keep repeating the reloading and entering the cheat cycle, you can end up with cars that will turn into a singular Mega Michelin monster. Unfortunately, you cannot enter them, as the base of the car is way too high for Tommy to reach. Slightly shooting them can send them flying, or simply spinning around in place. The doubling in size of wheels only applies to sports cars, but other cars are also affected by the repeated input of the cheat, as some cars will gain an insane acceleration speed, while others will become too heavy, thus being unable to turn. And will also phase through water, as all vehicles with a heavy property will do. Again, I'm glad these two glitches in particular are still present in this version of Vice City. Normally, you cannot use right mouse aiming with assault rifles, as the game simply forces you into first person. However, if you set Tommy on fire with a Molotov, you'll be able to use right mouse aiming for as long as he is burning.
Get to the payphone next to the mall in Washington.
This even works for the M60. This strange glitch allows you to delete all of your cars from your garage. For some odd reason, Vice City Definitive Edition introduced a glitch where if you start and cancel a vehicle side mission whilst you are in a garage, you instantly die, which normally doesn't happen in the OG game. However, the strange side effect is that if you come back, the game deletes any other vehicle you might have had. This could be related to the fact that the game creates an autosave whenever you cancel a side mission. You can use the Vercetti Mansion as a quick way of completing Firefighter, and also to farm a decent amount of money while you're at it. All you need to do is start Firefighter and then keep entering and exiting the mansion via the gigantic doors, which will extinguish the fires and allow you to complete the side mission really easily. This works because the game will put out any and all fires around the map whenever a fade-in happens. This is used by the developers as a way to prevent any unwanted softlocks to happen when a player might simply start a mission. This doesn't really work in the OG version because there's a good chance that the fire truck will get stuck in the staircase. But there's an even crazier and faster method of both completing Firefighter as well as grinding a ton of money. All you need is a cop car to start Vigilante, then get out and enter the ammunition menu, wait for the timer to run out and fail, and then reload your autosave. Once you're back in the game, make your way to the nearby fire station without pressing left or right, start the Firefighter mission, and only then press either A or D to work back. Keep switching between the first and last weapon on the menu in order to extinguish the fires and complete the mission. You can keep going as long as you want, but the limit seems to be at about 351 extinguished fires, which is almost $700,000. This is definitely faster than doing the Cone Crazy Mega Grind, but you are limited in how much you can earn, unlike in that minigame where you can basically earn billions if you keep at it long enough. This glitch menu can be used for other things as well, mainly teleporting back to it from almost anywhere around the map. And it is used in various individual level speedruns in Definitive Edition, as well as the OG version and even the 10th anniversary one, which is the older mobile port. Thankfully, you can also avoid having to only walk in a straight line simply by changing your on-foot left and right binds to mouse wheel up and down, which won't even teleport you, just prevents you from warping whilst being on foot or even in a car when turning. The small downside is that you will turn slightly to the left or right if you change weapons using the mouse wheel. The only way to warp back is using your arrow keys. And that should do it for today. So as a bonus, I want to show you a rather weird out of bounds spot in Little Havana, which is also present in the OG version. Strangely, you can only access it with either an Angel or a freeway bike. For you to clip through, you also need to lock your FPS to 30, as is the case for most of these clips. I hope you all enjoyed today's video and that you've learned something new about the game. What other crazy glitches do you know of that can be done in either Definitive or even the OG Vice City? Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're there, also leave a like. And of course, consider subscribing if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching.